Hey guys, Gian here of Gadget Pilipinas. Realme has been very active in launching phones lately. Just today, they launched a slew of new Narzo devices like the Narzo 50, Narzo 50A Prime, and Narzo 50 Pro 5G. In this video, I'll first focus on the first two devices that are technically in the more affordable price segment and tell you which one is best for you. Then we'll move on to the Narzo 50 Pro 5G, which is currently the best in the series. Let's get started. I totally understand Realme for not releasing all new Narzo devices all at once because the list can be quite overwhelming. Narzo 50 and Narzo 50A Prime are within the affordable segment, and some of you have probably been thinking about which is the best configuration for your needs. If you take a look at the full specs of these devices, it gives an impression that Narzo 50 is for the budget-conscious gamer, and 50A Prime, on the other hand, is for those who are looking for a phone that can serve the needs of the everyday commuter who uses his phone for social media content consumption. Narzo 50 Pro 5G is, well, for those who want a capable device that can be useful as a daily driver and gaming without breaking the bank. I mean, these are not wrong impressions, and in fact, these are exactly the target market that Narzo is aiming at. I'll give you a quick benchmark comparison shortly before this video ends. Here's a quick overview of the hardware. Let me first talk about the Narzo 50. Narzo 50 is packed with a MediaTek Helio G96 SoC. What I have here is the one with 6GB RAM and 128GB of internal storage. Performance-wise, it is just what I expected. You can play games on this device and can be used for content creation. It has a good array of cameras to boot, especially its 50 megapixels camera with PDAF. I'll talk more about camera performance in a little bit. There is significantly thermal buildup in most instances, which can be a little concerning for those who play games for a long period of time. As heat builds up, I noticed a few instances of throttling when playing games. FPS skips will be frequent during this stage, but not to the point of being annoying. My suggestion is to buy a phone cooler which may reduce around 4 to 7 degrees of heat while playing. Now, battery life is excellent on this device. It clocks around 21 hours from PC Mark battery test, which makes it one of the best smartphones to take with you without worrying about charging before the day ends. Now, charging is good as well because you only need around an hour to fully charge this from 0 to 100%. Now, from Narzo 50, let's now go to the Narzo 50A Prime. If budget is one of your major concerns and you can afford to get a Narzo 50, Realme has got you covered with the Narzo 50A Prime. You get lower specs, but should be more than enough to take this with you as a daily driver. It has decent specs for its price, and it can still make you play games at playable frame rates. Now that's thanks to its Unisoc T612 processor. This, however, is not the phone to use to play titles like Apex Legends, Diablo Immortal, or Ni no Kuni. Expect throttling and low frame rate in most instances because Narzo 50A Prime has lower processor frequencies compared to the Narzo 50. While this can let you play games, take note of that, this is not exactly the kind of phone that you'd expect to perform with flying colors. In terms of battery performance, expect this to perform just as good as the Narzo 50. It lasts around 15.25 hours from PC Mark battery test. And regardless, I find this very impressive, and the reason why I think that this has slightly lower battery life than Narzo 50 is because of high CPU throttling instances. Now, if you have the budget to spare, there is no question that the Narzo 50 Pro 5G is best for you, especially if you take into consideration all the features it has. For one, it has a MediaTek Dimensity 920 5G processor with ARM Mali G68 GPU. This is the same SoC on the Realme 9 Pro Plus 5G that I talked about a few months ago, and also in the video right here. You can check out my article about it on the link in the description box below. Now, I've got a little concern here though. At the time of the production of this video, Realme refused to give us the SRP of the Narzo 50 Pro. This means that I'm only using Realme 9 Pro Plus 5G's price as my high watermark as reference. Since the specs are almost identical with Narzo 50 Pro's 5000 mAh battery and Realme 9 Pro Plus 5G's camera specs as major differences, it is safe to say that the Narzo 50 Pro is cheaper by around 1,000 to 2,000 pesos. Now, you may be wondering about the performance benchmark of these three devices. Here are the results of our benchmark. Now, one of the games that is getting a lot of attention lately is Diablo Immortal. It has great graphics and an unforgettable story, but it has been a controversial topic lately because of its pay-to-win aspects. Since a lot of Filipinos have been playing and enjoying this game as purely F2P or free-to-play, I thought that it's good to address the question if these devices can handle this game and to what graphics performance level it can render without significant issues. Always make sure that you've already downloaded all the files before playing Diablo Immortal for better and optimized performance. On the Narzo 50 Pro 5G, the game can run up to 30 FPS at high resolution preset and low graphic settings. It does not support high frame rate settings. Stick with low to medium settings if you want a fluid gameplay experience. On Narzo 50, the game can run up to 30 FPS at medium resolution preset and low graphic settings. It also does not support high frame rate settings. Stick with low graphic settings for optimized performance and use a smartphone cooler if possible. On the Narzo 50A Prime, the game is still playable at 24 to 30 FPS, medium resolution preset, and low graphic settings. No support for high and ultra frame rate. And it can get a little hot when playing at long durations. Now, how about camera performance? Here are sample photos that I took using these devices. Before I move to my verdict, I'd like to tell you my thoughts about the designs of these phones. Among all these devices, my favorite is the Narzo 50A Prime in terms of design. It gives an iPhone 13 vibe, but not to the point of making it look like a knockoff. The Narzo 50 and the 50 Pro 5G have almost identical design, except that Pro version, or the Pro version rather, has a more sleek design, smaller but better Super AMOLED display, and in-display fingerprint sensor. Now that you've seen how these devices perform and work, let me share with you my quick verdict. Despite not having the price of the Realme Narzo 50 Pro 5G, I think that it's worth the price they're offering, especially to those who have a budget and are fans of the series. However, if you zoom out of the industry, there are other products from other brands that can offer fairly better devices at the same price point. And by price point, I'm referring to 19,000 to 21,000 pesos. How about the Narzo 50 and the Narzo 50A Prime? Narzo 50 is perfect for those who are looking for a smartphone that can perform decently and can last long at a single charge. Its 120Hz display can be helpful at times, but you'll hardly find it helpful when playing games because of hardware limitations, plus there aren't enough games that can really fully support 120Hz. Narzo 50A Prime, on the other hand, is really for those who are looking for a daily driver with decent performance at an affordable price of 7,999. Well, that's it for our video. I hope this somehow gives you the impression, or information rather, you need before making your purchase decision. We will have, of course, another article about this, which will show you some sample photos that we took using all these devices. Of course, we'll be giving you our complete verdict on all of these devices on our website. Special thanks again to Realme for sending these devices over. This has been Gian, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye!